Okay, let's get started with learning how to do the basic corner to corner stitch. First thing you're going to do is put a slip knot on your hook. And if you don't know how to make a slip knot, make sure you check out my videos on how to do a slip knot. And then you are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now once you've chained 6, we're going to be working into the chains. Now you can work through the front of the chain, like if you've learned to work this way through your chains, you can do that. I tend to work in my back loops and the back bumps of the chains, so you'll be watching me do it that way. And the first row is you skip the first 3 chains. So here's the back bumps here, 1, 2, 3. And you're going to double crochet in the 4th chain, the 5th chain, and then the 6th chain. So this is literally your first corner. It's a block. Let me get that on the hook here. There we go. So now you'll notice you have 3 double crochets, and then you have the skipped 3 chains, which also count as a double crochet. So technically you've got 4 double crochets here, but that space that's being made here is going to be really important for the next row. So that's all there is to row 1. So now let's go to row 2. Row 2 says to chain 6 and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I turn my work, and then we're going to skip the first 3 chains again, and we're going to work in the last 3 chains. Now because I work in the back bump, I kind of turn it upside down so I can work in the back bumps. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you look again here before we move on. We have our 3 double crochets and our 4th, which is the chain that we skipped. Now then it says skip next 3 double crochets, and in next chain 3 space work a slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. So we're going to skip these 3 doubles that we made on row 1. 1, 2, 3. And here's the space. Remember I said that's going to be important on the next row? You're going to slip stitch in there. Always want to do a single for some reason. Chain 3. And then you're going to do 3 doubles in that spot. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now on row 2, I'm going to pull that loop up a little bit so we can look at it. We now have 2 blocks. We started row 1 with 1 block. Now we have 2 blocks, and both blocks have that chain 3 space at the beginning of, or at the beginning of each block. It'll be at the end when we turn to row 3. So now for row 3, I'm going to get my hook in the loop here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turn. But remember I turned mine upside down. And we're going to do the same thing over again. So we're going to skip the first 3 chains, and then we're going to double crochet in the 4th, in the 5th, and in the 6th. Okay, then we're going to skip the next 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work in that space again. So we're going to slip stitch chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 doubles in that space. So there we go, we've got the chain 3 and the 3 doubles, and then we're going to do it one more time. Skip these 3 and we're going to work in this chain 3 space. So we're going to slip stitch, chain 3, and then do 3 doubles. I have a little extra yarn in my hand there. Okay. Okay, so there's row 3. So it's really easy to count how many rows you have, because you can count, starting from the bottom corner, you can count how many rows, 1, 2, 3, by the number of blocks on either side, or you can count by the number of blocks going across. To increase your sides, we're going to just chain 6 and turn, and then skip 3 chains, double crochet in the next 3 chains, and then do exactly the same thing we did before, where we slip stitch. I'm going to turn the work here. So we slip stitch in here, chain 3, do 3 double crochets, slip stitch in this chain, or this chain space, I should say. Chain 3, 3 double crochets, slip stitch in this chain, and 3 double crochets, or 3 chains and then 3 double crochets, and that'll give you 4. So every row you increase is going to increase by 1 block. So make sure you know that as well. And then what I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to just have you continue to repeat this until you have 8 blocks. So 8 blocks across, so that's 8 rows. So when we count the rows, remember 1, 2, 3 blocks going up the side. So when you get to that point, come back to the video and I'll show you how to decrease to make the square. Okay, so now you can see I've got 8 blocks on the top of my square here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, you can also count by going up the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're going to start decreasing. I'm going to actually make this into a block. So we're going to start decreasing. So if you wanted to keep going to make like a blanket with just like a self-striping yarn like I'm using here, you could just keep going until it was as wide as you wanted it to be on these 2 sides. The cool thing about this pattern is that it makes a square shaped blanket, so you could make a perfectly square blanket for a baby if you wanted to do that. So you could just keep going if you wanted. But we're going to go ahead and start decreasing here. So to decrease, we're not going to chain 6, obviously, because we don't want to add any more squares. So we're going to turn our work, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the first 3 double crochets. So we're going to slip stitch, okay, and then we're also going to slip stitch in this hole right here that we get from the chain 3 that we made for the beginning of the block, and then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to do 3 double crochets in that block. Oops, sorry, I got out of frame there. I need to pull some yarn out so that I can keep going. Hang on one second. There we go. So now we're going to do the same thing we've always done. So we're going to skip the next 3. We're going to slip stitch in that first, or in that space, chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 doubles. And we're going to do that all the way across to the last block. So when I say to the last block, that means we're not going to work in the last block yet. So I'm just going to finish this row, and then we'll come back and do the last block. Okay, so now you can see that we skipped, or we slip stitched into the first 3 double crochets, and I've done 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total blocks. Now remember, when we were increasing, we were adding a block every row. So now we want to decrease a block every row to make it square. So we are going to not want to add here, because otherwise this would be an 8-block row, and we want it to be a 7-block row because we're decreasing. So what you want to do to finish off this row, so that there's not this weird little opening here, is just slip stitch into that last block. And then you're going to turn, and now we're going to do the next row, and the next row is exactly the same. You're going to slip stitch into those first 3 doubles, and then into the chain 3 space here at the end, and then you're going to chain 3, and you're going to do your 3 doubles in that same space that we just slip stitched into. And then we're going to just jump over, and we're going to work a block in this one, work a block in this one, work a block in this one, work a block here, work a block here, work a block here, or actually not work a block here. We're going to do 6 blocks this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then slip stitch into this last one. So I'm going to have you go all the way across and do that row, and then I'm going to have you decrease all the way until you have 1 block left, and then we'll come back. Okay, I'm back with the last row here, so I'm just going to do my last block. So I'm going to make sure I slip stitch in these first 3 doubles, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the chain 3 space, chain 3, do 3 doubles, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to slip stitch just right here in this last chain 3 space. And that is it. And I don't have my scissors here with me, otherwise I would cut that. But that is it. So now, if I pull this back a little, you can see it's a nice square. And what's really cool about this is that you can count all your rows very easily, and the fact that I used a long striping yarn helps with finding your rows and your stitches. You could also use a variegated, you could use a speckled yarn, whatever you want to do to make these squares. You could even stripe it by changing colors every few rows. But however you want to use this stitch, this is one of my favorite stitches to do baby blankets with, especially when there's new family members coming. And I like to put an edging on it, and it's really simple to put an edging on. You've got double crochets on the edge here to work into. Work into. And then you've also got these spaces. So what I usually do is I usually start with a base round of single crochet all the way around, and then I have whatever edging pattern I want to do, and I use that edging pattern around. Now, of course, you're going to have to make sure your numbers match on all your sides. But that is how you do the corner to corner stitch. In my next video, I'll show you how to do corner to corner pictures. We're going to just do a really small swatch, but I want to show you how to change colors in the middle to make an actual picture. So see you next time.